যাহার প্রসাদে ভার যে ভবত রিয়া যায় যাহার কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হয় যাহা হইতে কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হয় যাহা হইতে গুরু মুখা পদ্মা বাক্যা তে কোরিয়ার আখ্যা আর না করিহ মানে আশা আর না করিহ মানে আশা সে গুরু চরণে রাতে ऐसे उतामागति সে গুরু যে প্রসাদে পুরে সর্ব আশা যে প্রসাদে পুরে সর্ব আশা चक्षुदान दिल जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिल जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते वेद गाय जहार चरित वेद गाय जहार चरित श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधमा जनारा बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधमा जनारा बंधु लोकेना लोकेरा जीवाना लोकेना लोकेरा जीवाना हा हा प्रभु करा दया देह मोरे पदा छाया हा हा प्रभु kara daya deho more pada chaya Prabhu kar daya deho more pada chaya Prabhu kar daya deho more pada chaya Ebe jash shukre bhuvana Shila Prabhupada patita pavana Shila Prabhupada patita pavana Jaya Prabhupada 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 Shila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jai Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jai Gurudev Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnapristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namah Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatyadisha Tarine Jai Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Gaur Haribol. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Gaura Haribol.
Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Parividagacharya Astatara Satasi Simada's Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Nitya Lila Pravishtom Paramahansa Parivinagacharya Astatara Satasi Simad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki His Confounder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Prem Sikaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki Gaur Premanandi. You made it. Unless it's just a clone, you just virtual something. I've got a complaint. This thing's in the way. For people that want to sit over here and see the screen, you can't sit over here and see the screen because this thing's in the way. Okay, I feel better. Has everybody got it? If you can't see the screen, if you're sitting over here and you can't see the screen, there's two others. Haribol. You want a microphone? What? I already tried. This will work with this. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjavi Hari Punjabi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Gopi Janam Bhallabha Girivada Dadi Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivada Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivada Dadi Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivada Dadi Jasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Jasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Jamuna Tiravana Chadi Jamuna Tiravana Chadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivada Dadi Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivada Dadi Yasodanandana Prajajanarandana Yasodanandana Prajajanarandana Yamunatirabbana Shadi Yamunatirabbana Shadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjami Hadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjami Hadi Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parividakacharya Astatarasatasi Simad, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki, Gaur Premanandi. Those of you seated in chairs, if you want to sit way against the wall, that's fine. If you want to move the chair up a little bit closer, that's also fine. Wherever you're happy, we're happy. As long as you can see what's going on. Yesterday, I shared that during the Thanksgiving weekend, when I made this extensive presentation on Madhurya Kandambani, I was thinking this would make a nice sequel. Its sequel to this would make a nice presentation for Vyasa Puja. So that's what I did yesterday evening and this morning. And from this morning comes midday and evening and so forth. So those of you that attended or those that you viewed the recording of the Madhurya Kandambani topic, you recognize this image that's on the screen. In case you didn't do either one of those, this was in the presentation. And what's on the screen is part of a big, detailed poster that's depicting the topic of the Bhakti Lata Bija, the Bhakti Lata creeper. And this part is our topic for this morning, the Bhakti Lata Bija. And maybe you noticed the theme for this weekend is Bhakti Lata Bija, Bija meaning seed. So I'll introduce you a little bit, those that are not familiar with this depiction. At the bottom, there's the seed of bhakti is sown in the heart and, according to Madhurya Kandambani, in the senses, and it's watered. By it's being watered, the seed starts to sprout. And when the seed starts to sprout, as you probably experienced from some gardening or growing tulsis or something, boop, this little shoot comes out of the earth and 2 leaves unfold. And the 2 leaves are the fruit or the byproduct of the sprouting of the seed of bhakti. And just to introduce you to what it says on the screen, if you can't read it, Kleshagni and Shubhada. Sadhana bhakti, even from the very beginning, and continuing, Klesha, Agni, the eradication of sufferings, and Shubha, Da, bhakti gives Shubha. And in the next stage, those are also, they are more matured, plus 2 others from Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. So that's depicted in this nice graphic, a poster with the details and details, giving all of the details that's within Madhurya Kandambini. It's a very nice poster. And does somebody have a copy of the poster and can forward it to others? Can you forward it to others? It's a nice poster. So it gives you an idea of the book and the topic of the book. So we're focusing on what's at the bottom. That's the seed sown in the heart and the senses, the Bhakti Lata Bija. The phrase Bhakti Lata Bija comes from a nice verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is Lord Chaitanya instructing Rupa Goswami in Prayag. And the teaching goes, you know the verse, we can say it together. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Bhai Bhakti Lata Bija. So there it is, the Bhakti Lata Bija. Bhakti Lata Bija. So the fortunate soul, the Bhagyavan Jeev, the fortunate soul who receives the mercy of Bhagavan becomes Bhagyavan, wandering and wandering, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona, life after life, who knows what species in this Brahmanda, in this universe. Somehow by mercy, Guru Krishna Prasade Bhai Bhakti Lata Bija. So have you ever wondered, as I have often wondered, what is this seed anyways? So that's what it says anyways. What is it? What is this mysterious seed of Bhakti Lata? So I'm going to make 3 references. They all say the same thing, but it's the reference, starting reference comes from Jiva Goswami. And Jiva Goswami, by referring to 10:51:53, which is the pastime of Muchukunda, 10th canto, Muchukunda, the whole chapter dedicated to Muchukunda. And after Muchukunda cinders Kalyavana in the cave where he was sleeping, he sees someone else in the room, or the cave, and it's Krishna. Who are you? He doesn't recognize Krishna, so Krishna just says who he is. Oh, he's a Krishna Bhakta. He's a devotee of the Supreme Lord. But because of circumstance, he wasn't recognizing, and then he offers some prayers. And this is one of his prayers. In text 10:51:53, we'll see the prayer shortly. And the commentary, Jiva Goswami's commentary says, by the association of sadhus, we'll see the verse, the intention to engage in Krishna bhajan appears. This is called mati, and is the seed of the bhakti creeper. So the little bit of the background, not tell the whole story of chapter 51, but Muchukunda was an earthly king in a previous yuga, and he was really powerful hero, and the demons attacked the demigods. The demigods approached King Muchukunda, help. So King Muchukunda went to the heavenly planets, what happened? Dealt with the demons and destroyed. The demigods were victorious. Yay. So then they provided this opportunity. This is a psychedelic screen. It's just Is this one also going out? No, this one, okay. Benediction. I just want to sleep. Because it was day and night and night and day and day and night and 24/7. And he was very tired. So let me sleep with a benediction that anybody that wakes me before I've woken up, they'll burn into ashes. So omniscient Krishna knew he didn't want to deal with Kalyavana. So he ran from the battlefield. He ran. Krishna ran from the battlefield. Krishna doesn't run from the battlefield. Krishna ran from the battlefield right to the cave of Muchukunda. And Kalyavana saw somebody lying. He thought Krishna's tired, so he kicked him. It wasn't Krishna, it was Muchukunda. And immediately from the eyes of Muchukunda, it's a nice painting, pile of ashes. End of Kalyavana. Krishna gave Muchukunda some nice service. And other things too, wake him up, and that benediction was over, so he wouldn't cinder Krishna. And then gave him some service, gave him some association, and the opportunity to offer prayers. So you can see in the painting, he's really big. And there's a reason for that. According to the Bhagavatam, in previous ages, people had different qualifications, including stature, bodily stature. So he was from a previous age. So he looks really big. And Krishna looked much smaller. And then comes this prayer. So here's the prayer. And notice the final word in the prayer. Oh, gosh. Before the evening class, someone can try to fix this problem. Not right now, because it won't, but try to fix the problem. Oh, technology experts. So, Matihi. Here's the translation. So this is Muchukunda speaking to Krishna. Oh Achyuta. When the material life of a wandering soul has ceased, so Brahmanda Brahmite Konya Bhagyavan Jeev, O Achyuta, he may attain the association of your devotees. And when he associates with them, there awakens in him devotion unto you. That's the description. There's the word for word is matihi. There awakens in him devotion unto you, who are the goal of the devotees and the Lord of all causes and their effects. So there's some sambandha again. He's the cause of all causes and effects that caused by causes. He's the cause of causes and all effects. And he's the goal of the devotees. So that's Achyuta. But devotion to Achyuta, devotion to the personality of Godhead, may be dormant or is dormant in the conditioned soul. So what awakens? What's the seed of bhakti is this matihi. Here's Jiva Goswami's explanation. By the association of sadhus, the desire to do Krishna bhajan appears. This is called mati, and is the seed of the bhakti kripa. That's a Bhanu Swami translation of Laghu Toshani Tika. That means Jiva Goswami made a commentary on Sanatana Goswami's commentary of the 10th Canto Bhagavatam. Phew. This screen needs to go to a doctor. Got some kind of an illness. Okay. Mati. This is the seed from Jiva Goswami. And note, there's an inversion in cause and effect. Here's the explanation from Jiva Goswami in his commentary, referring to Kavya Prakash. Kavya Prakash. A statement in which the logical order of a cause and its effect is reversed. The effect is stated as if it's the cause, and the cause is stated as if it's an effect. It's a literary ornament, alankara, called ati shayokti. And it's purposeful. It purposes to make extreme assertion. He says further, or writes further, to express the swift action of a cause, one may assert the result before the cause. So that's what this verse 53 of chapter 51, spoken by Muchukunda, does. It's a detail, but details are nice. Emphasis by extreme assertion. That the fact is, it's the association of the Lord's devotees that enables one to transcend material existence. That's this matihi. And this literary ornament is an apparent inversion of sequence. So here's the correct understanding. The merciful association of the Lord's devotees makes possible our determination, matihi, to become Krishna conscious. That's one reference, and it's like a strong one. And similar references, I'm going to give you a few more, but the topic is, how does bhakti begin? Bhakti begins by the mercy of Guru and Krishna receiving the seed, bhakti lata bij. So what's that seed, mysterious seed? It's the mercy of Guru and Krishna, awakening something that's dormant. What's dormant? The tendency, the enthusiasm, the determination, the sense of purpose. My life is meant for pleasing Krishna. Because that's the essence of bhakti. You're all learned devotees. Most of you are learned devotees. And in case you're not such a learned devotee, learn this one. This is a nice one. It's a definition of bhakti. The seed of bhakti is the determination to do what bhakti is. And bhakti is anukulyena Krishna anushilanam. Minus jnana and karma, it's the purpose of pleasing Krishna. The heart of bhakti is Krishna should be pleased. And how do we know Krishna is pleased? There's different symptoms, but the path for pleasing Krishna is given by perfected souls. So there are our acharyas. Our acharyas give us the means. So that's the anushilana. Anu means following. Shilana means conduct or character, both. Shilana, behavior or conduct or character. And following that, anushilana, that tells us you do that and Krishna will be pleased. Supposing you don't know Krishna, you can know that Krishna will be pleased if you're following those who are pleasing Krishna. It's very simple. Bhakti is really simple. Prabhupada said, simple for the simple, difficult for the crooked. Simple for the simple. It's very simple. The application may get a little like, how do I do this and how do I do that? Little discerning activity going on. But the process is simple. Follow. Anushilana. Those who know how to please Krishna and are pleasing Krishna. You just follow them. Not imitate, but follow. And that determination, matihi, that's the seed. I mentioned this yesterday, so I'll mention it again. It didn't last too long, but there was a little bit of question. It became, a topic for a while. Is bhakti bestowed or is bhakti awakened? Is bhakti bestowed? Bhakti Lata Bij, Guru Krishna Prasadi Bhakti Lata Bij, or is it already there, it just has to be awakened? It doesn't have to be one or the other, it can be both. The seed, how long can the seed stay? So we have Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunoi. Nitya Siddha, eternal perfection, is already within the heart of every living entity. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema. And it's awakened by association, like a seed can sit in a bag or a plate wherever you keep seeds for a long time. A long time. There may be an eventual shelf life, but there's seeds keep life within the seed for a long time. And you sit there in the bag, on the shelf. And then just, okay, it's time to harvest the seeds. And then you can take the seed out and fructify the seed, and the life that's within the seed comes out, potentially. And there's a process, this and that, water and soil and ingredients to nourish the seed, and boop, here comes the life. So the Bhakti Lata, the creeper of Bhakti, is like that. It's already there and it's awakened. Bhakti is, the seed of Bhakti is this determination that Krishna should be pleased. Tendency, but supposing somebody, that tendency hasn't become awakened, then the idea is to please something else in its place. You have the shadow, Maya, please fill in the blank. Myself, my senses, my family, my this, my that, and material life goes on and on and on, in all species, in all shapes and forms and so forth. Because of that awakening hasn't happened, although the tendency is within. There's a similar description in the talk between Ramananda Roy and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's a very celebrated and elevated section of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Knowing who Ramananda Roy is and who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, it's very naturally a very elevated discourse. The conversation begins. Lord Chaitanya is asking questions. Ramananda Roy is supposed to give him the answers. He's examining his devotee or making his devotee speak things by asking questions. What's the goal of life and how to achieve it? That's the starting point of the conversation. That's a nice place to begin. Goal of life and how to achieve it. So in the course of that discussion, this particular point, and there you see the word matihi again. Krishna, this is a celebrated verse. It's written about and spoken about by our acharyas again and again and again, and again and again and again. So the first line, if the whole verse isn't spoken, the first line is Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Matihi. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Matihi. In the word for word from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Matihi here is, word for word, is translated by Prabhupada as intelligence. And then the first part, Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita, absorbed in Bhakti Rasa, the mellows of executing devotional service to Krishna, Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Matihi. So here's the translation. Chaitanya Charitamrita, BBT version. Pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness cannot be had even by pious activity in hundreds and thousands of lives. You can't stack up piety and piety and piety and piety and you get high enough and you get bhakti. It doesn't work that way. That would be material creates spiritual. So that's not a fact. So that's the negative. It can be attained only by paying one price. So there's this word lolium, and that's a celebrated section of this verse also. Greed, intense greed to obtain it. Now I'll make a point, probably a few times in the course of this weekend. I've already said it, I'll say it again. The seed is the intention that Krishna should be pleased. That's the matihi. And then there's intense greed. When that intention or determination or resolve or purpose matures and matures and matures and matures, when it matures, it becomes really intense. Greed. This is in Madhuri Kandamani. You can read it or listen to the recording or whatever. But it is the maturing stage of something that starts in the seed stage. So I'll say it again. Everything in bhakti begins, we mentioned it yesterday. Ananta Shesh had a question, whether in response to Ananta Shesh's question, I mentioned this. I'm saying it again. What's there in the beginning just matures. So there are stages of the unfolding of the creeper, but the same terms from the very beginning apply later and apply later and apply later. We ran into one of those yesterday evening with Narada Muni, the word taste. So there's taste that he had from, little boy. And then taste grows and taste grows and taste grows. And it's one of the stages of bhakti. But there's some taste already. Otherwise, how can one continue if there isn't taste? How long can you chew sawdust? But you continue. And then the taste matures and grows and grows. I'm frustrated. Does this work? This one's working. Okay. Maybe the backdrop can be removed. It's nice, but maybe not now, but later the backdrop can be removed. And then we don't have to worry about the psychedelic screen over here. Sorry, everybody. So, Lolyam is a very mature stage. It's described by Rupa Goswami and many others, followers of Rupa Goswami. To achieve Raga Bhakti, there has to be greed. The transition from Vaidhi Bhakti into Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, there's there's an element that's needed. That's the matured stage of this intention or determination, or the seed has now may become mature. And there's a focus shift from the activities of hearing and chanting, which we're instructed to become absorbed in, immersed in, hearing and chanting. And eventually it's the object of what one is hearing and chanting about, immersed in the person, subject, object, in the process to reach that object. And an intense greed to have a personal relationship with that supreme person. And then there's the procedure, etc., etc. But this is an important verse. It's a very important verse, referred to again and again. I'm making emphasis because it's part of our topic, this matihi. verb. So then what do you do once you get the seed? You water the seed. These slides are taken, next 3 slides are taken directly from the Madhurya Kandamani presentation. So those of you that saw it, you're seeing it again. Like watering a seed, Shravana and Kirtana makes Bhakti creeper sprout in the field of the devotee's senses and heart. Favorable service to the Lord is the root of that creeper, so that he should be pleased. Favorable means that he should be pleased. The very life force of bhakti is to give pleasure to Krishna, or Bhagavat Priti. This is Jiva Goswami's and Rupa Goswami's explanation. So here's Jiva Goswami's explanation from Priti Sandarbha. Let's go back. The very life force of bhakti is to give pleasure to Krishna, Bhagavat Priti. And he continues, there's 3 elements to Bhagavat Priti. The action, with the intention, Krishna should be pleased. That's the seed, and then it becomes matured. When Priti comes, with affection, Krishna should be pleased, not just regulation, but with affection. Wishing Krishna's association, experiencing Krishna's sweetness. Those of you that remember all the way back to yesterday evening, there was this description given by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur of, in one's siddhadeya, these are things that one experiences. The sweetness of Krishna through the senses, seeing, smelling, tasting. And one's senses become, highly sensitized and greedy for that experience of Krishna's sweetness, Madhurya. Continuing in Priti Sandarbha, since Priti, or Priyata, is composed of desire to act favorably towards another person, it, that's Priti, holds that other person as its object. It's grammar. There's subject-object, the abode of love and the object of love. Subject-object, and then your verb. So the verb is service, and then there's the object of service, and then it's the abode. This is, I'll say it twice, this next part is very important. When Priti, it's not just the person, but it's the feelings, the affectionate feelings of the person who's engaged with Krishna in a loving exchange is directed towards the object, the Vishaya. This Priti, not the person, but the love of that person, is composed of the Lord's Swarup Shakti and is the highest Purushartha. Now, it's elevated. Priti Sandarbha is a very elevated section of his Sandarbhas. So let's go back, do it slowly again, one more time. The topic is the seed of the Bhakti creeper. And the seed is the intention or the desire or the determination that has become awakened by association of those that have it, the desire that Krishna should be pleased. My life is meant for Krishna's pleasure. That's the seed. And the seed grows by watering, hearing and chanting. The seed grows. And when it grows to a stage of Priti, or love, then the love itself becomes the place of shelter. Bhagavan, the object, becomes the to be enjoyed. I'm the abode of love, but it's not even me, it's the Priti that's within, becomes the ashraya, and Krishna is the Vishaya. And that love is the Swarup Shakti. It's exactly what we heard in Madhurya Kandambini, only it's in Jiva Goswami's language in Priti Sandarbha. That is, Bhakti Devi. Who is Bhakti Devi anyways? Bhakti Devi is an expansion of Radharani. I'll say it again. Bhakti Devi is an expansion of... All the Shaktis are expansions of Radharani. She is the Lord's Swarup Shakti, and she has her multiple expansions. So she, Bhakti Devi, is Radharani's expansion. So one who receives Bhakti Lata, Bija, that's Radharani has entered their heart by Bhakti Devi entering their heart. There's a behavior, but there's more than a behavior to bhakti. It's the feeling of wanting to please Krishna. That's at the heart of bhakti. So we can do behaviors, and then there's bhakti itself, Swarup Bhakti. It's nice. It's a nice science. It's a science of love. Mm-hmm. Right, Sri Radhika? There's a science to love. It's another category than mundane science, but there's a science to it. So I'll do it one more time. What Jiva Goswami is explaining in Priti Sandarbha is this exchange that starts from a seed and grows and grows and grows. It may eventually come to the stage of loving affection. When that loving affection matures, the loving affection is the ashraya, and then there's the vishaya. And that ashraya, the loving affection, is Krishna's Swarup Shakti. That's Bhakti Devi. And in a matured stage. And that's the Purushartha, the highest objective of human existence. Now, many persons in the room are kind of newer. We're all practicing bhakti to some degree or another. Some of the persons in the room are newer. Some have been around for some time. Some have been around for a long time. So we're at different stages in our spiritual trajectory. But when you get on a train, it's good to know where the train's going. From time to time, I've traveled in China. I'll probably go back again. It's like the Chinese government is hard to deal with. But so you go into a train station, when you don't speak the language, there's a zillion people going this way and that way. So what's the right train? You gotta have somebody with you that knows. But when you get on the train, it's going to take you to where the train's going. If you don't know where you're going, there's lots of trains that can take you to all kinds of places. Best to know where the train's going. So similarly, when you get on the bhakti train, where's it going? This is a discussion about where's it going. You got the seed, you're watering the seed with hearing and chanting, fantastic. Where's the train going? Supposing you don't focus on where the train's going, you just do the hearing and chanting. That's nice, no harm. But when it matures, what's it look like? What is it? What's the whole purpose of all this? We can say something, love of God. What's that? What's prema? Is the mature stage of this seed. And this is the description of, in that mature stage of prema, there's affection. And the affection is the shelter, it's the Lord's Swarup Shakti. One is in direct, the jiva is in direct contact with Bhakti Shakti and feels a palpable relationship with the object, Bhagavan. One more reference. Here's Bhakti Vinod Thakur. making his commentary on Manashiksha. This is the last slide. So if you're feeling oppressed, this is too much. Circuit overload, please slow down. It's the last slide, everybody. I'll share something before I do the last slide. When I was preparing for this Madhurya Kandambini presentation, somebody said, one of my godbrothers said, I heard your presentation that you had done several years ago because I'm very interested. And I heard the first 3 classes, but I stopped listening because I felt you were dumbing it down for the audience. That was his words. So in preparation for the Madhurya Kandambini topic, I understood, I expressed it at the beginning. There's 3 audiences. The new people, the people that have been around for a while, and the people that are more advanced. You know, beginning, intermediate, and advanced. Pretty simple. So 3 audiences. I'm making the point, even if you're not at the destination of where the train is going, it's good to know where the train is going. Okay, I'm not there yet. Fantastic. Keep going, but be clear where it's going. So when you're doing bhakti, so you're not stuck in a position where I'm chanting and I'm reading, but I'm not feeling that I'm making the kind of advancement that I could be, should be, would be. What's wrong? Well, one of the things is you're not clear where the train's going. We're doing the do's and avoiding the don'ts. That's good. And then what else? You know, what's the purpose behind the doing the do's and not doing the don'ts? And what's the purpose? Where's the train going? What's this prema bhakti anyways? Is it something I should be aspiring for? I checked the box in my Bhakti Shastri exam, but I don't really know what it is. I hope I'm not making somebody uncomfortable. I'm trying to do what I understand I'm supposed to be trying to do, is to let you know, fan the spark. And when the spark starts to, not too much, you put the spark out, but then it starts to become a flame. And then keep fanning the spark. This is the keep fanning the spark, so that we have a greater clarity, please, on where the train is going. You know, so for us to go beyond the beginning stage or intermediate stage into a more mature stage of bhakti, it's good to know how to get there, what it is and how to get there. And the teachings of Rupa Goswami are the teachings of Bhakti Rasa. The teaching of the personality of Godhead, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was to give the gift of Krishna Prema. So what's that gift? What is it? That we're supposed to receive. We have, okay, the seed is there, great. Keep going. So then, here's the keep going, what it looks like. Here's Manashiksha. Manashiksha is Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami's book to describe Raga Bhakti. Beyond inviting to the stage of Raga Bhakti, or in addition to, and a further complement of following regulations, is coming to a stage where one is absorbed, as this other term was mentioning, absorbed. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita, absorbed in being with Krishna in Braja, being with Radha Krishna in Braja. That's the gift that Raghunath Das wants to give in this Manashiksha. He's instructing the mind. Verse 4, there's a lot to say about what the verse says, but here's Bhakti Vinod Thakur's comment on the verse. And the word mati is right in the verse number 4. You can look it up. Mati is the resolve which is enthused by the taste of the liquid mellows of devotion unto Lord Krishna. This resolve seems very small, but it is the seed of the creeper of devotion which develops through the stages of bhakti. So the resolve that starts in the seed grows and grows and grows and grows and grows if you're doing it properly. Protect this creeper very carefully. Do not let it wither. This resolve that I will perform bhajan comes by the association of Vaishnavas. This resolve is very rare and precious, like a Chintamani gem. Its creeper grows up to Goloka Vrindavan and produces the fruit of prema, so prevent it from being destroyed at any cost. That's where the train is going. Now, Prabhupada, in presenting Krishna consciousness or Krishna bhakti or Bhagavat bhakti, he made it sound very simple, and it is very simple. The principle is very simple. However, there's a tendency to become complacent or mechanical or doing the do's and not doing the don'ts and Om Jai Jagadisha Hare. And then some years pass and, I'm not making so much advancement like I feel I should be, could be, would be. I'm making this point a few times because my experience is that question comes up again and again. The language of it, it's being expressed is different. Part of it is the how-to. Type of question. Like, I'm stuck, and how do I go beyond stuck? They use that, people don't ask that, use that language, but that's in essence what is being asked. So it's within our teachings, a little bit, fanning the spark, a little boot in the seat of the pants, and so that you can go further. And don't be complacent. And don't be, 5 years from now, scratching your head saying, how come I haven't made the kind of progress I think I could have been making? That can happen. It's likely going to happen for many. Is it possible? Because that's the dark side. Is it really possible to come to these very elevated stages? It looks too far away for me, then shrug your shoulders and business as usual. But it's not meant to be. It can be like that, but it's not meant to be like that. And that the decision, so there's free will, and there's teachings, and there's teachers, and there's examples. And we're meant to go beyond the business as usual kind of bhakti. And, most of us are getting older. And some of us are getting, towards the end. And, have I used my time wisely? It's, so somebody's young thinking, I've got the whole of my life ahead of me. But wait a while. And then, then what? Time is a very valuable commodity. A little speech about time. You can't buy, with millions and millions and millions of dollars, you can't buy back a second, so use your time wisely. And the time in devotion is the best use of time, and use your best use of time in the best possible way. So I'll say something I said yesterday. There was a question about it, and I'm going to end. The how-to question, a big part of the how-to question is to understand what the topic for this morning's class, the Bhakti Lata Bij. How does it begin? What is this mysterious bija that both the mercy of Guru and Krishna give one? And if you can understand that, then you can understand the answer to the how-to question, because that's how bhakti begins, and it grows and it grows and it grows. Do it properly, and it grows and it grows. And if it's not growing, then you go into this reflective position. How does bhakti begin, anyways? And where's it going? Where's this process taking me? Is it really valuable? Or just being comfortable is valuable. You're not suffering so much. Klishakni and Shubhada. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay. Bhakti can give that. But the further stages of bhakti come from applying oneself a little more attentively. Here comes the signal that we're going to end the class. Shri Shri Radha Shama Sundara Ki Jai. So let's see if there's some lively discussion this morning. It's 8:30.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much for your class. If I understood correctly, bhakti is done to give pleasure to Krishna.
Bhakti is what?
Bhakti is done to give pleasure to Krishna. And so the resolve to do bhakti should be protected at all costs. What if my resolve for doing bhakti is not...
Speak slowly. What is my...
what if my resolve for doing bhakti is not necessarily to please Krishna? Is it still advisable to protect?
It's mixed. Yeah, most of us is mixed. So what if you get mixed?
I should still protect whatever I have.
Huh?
My resolve for doing bhakti, I should still cultivate it, even though...
Speak slowly. You'll try, and I'll try to listen. We'll work together. Go ahead.
So, although my resolve for doing bhakti is not necessarily to please Krishna right now,
Right.
I should still cultivate whatever I have and not
Yes.
go further.
Yes. And keep good association, and in good association continue your hearing. And hearing isn't just, it's not like, college study or high school study or elementary school study. It's, take it inside, let it gestate a bit, and then live accordingly, adjust the way that I live. So that's the hearing and chanting is not just a mechanical, but it's devotional act with whatever your capacity is. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. I just share something. I think one clarity I have today is the creeper of bhakti is the mati, or say
the seed is mati. Yeah.
Yeah, the determination or resolve or the greediness to be engaged in bhakti. And I think if we look at the development process of a mature plant from from the seed in a nutshell, I feel like yesterday's class is more looking at how like when the seed is already sprouted and how it gets step by step grow into a mature plant. And today in the morning we are talking more about how that nutshell surrounding the dormant seed get peeled off. I think that's something. But this mati is penetrated throughout from the very beginning. The nutshell form goes all the way up to the fully mature plant. And I think one way I can look at my own development is to see how determined I am to, for example, stay focused in chanting. That's it. Thank you.
What you're saying is, in your language, the same thing that Vishwanath Chakravarti, I'm just reflecting on what you said. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says the same. Or a very nice way to put it is, progressing can be evaluated by one's intensity or laxity of effort. I'll say it again. Advancement can be, self or others, can be evaluated by intensity or laxity of effort. And unsteady is sometimes more intense and sometimes more lax. Unsteady. And then steady is where it's steady. And then there's stages beyond steady. That becomes, the intensity dials up. And as intensity dials up, distractions dial down. Darkness and distractions is a nice word. Investing time and energy and attention and what's important to me starts to fade away. Using the language you're saying, the shell falls away. The covering of who we really are falls away. Just becomes inconsequential. Okay. Somebody else. I see a whole lot of hands out there on the men's side. Go for it. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I had a simple question about the beginning of the presentation.
Okay.
Poster. You mentioned that no amount of material piety can build up into the spiritual content.
Right.
Just curious about the Bhakti seed and how that the process of the Bhakti seed, obviously, with the desire to please Krishna, and then you have the sadhu sangha and the hearing and chanting that obviously is building up that seed into a mature Bhakti lata. Just curious about the way that the seed, the process of that seed going into the Bhakti lata, the time scale, and how we saw yesterday about Narada and how that process was expedited. Just curious about if that process being expedited is because of the increase in sadhu sangha, increase of the watering of the Bhakti lata,
Yeah.
the inherent Bhakti lata size.
There's multiple factors. It's specific to Narada's case. He was innocent, youthful innocence, and had, by their association, was kind of, focused. His mind, his talking, his playfulness, the frivolousness, the distraction of youthfulness was put in a little compression chamber, and he was very focused. So it was enhanced by his circumstance and perhaps by his nature. Now, that's Narada, and I'm trying to hear. You said it several times, and I'm not really clear exactly what you're asking. You wanted to understand what are factors that can enhance one's spiritual progress from the beginning stage. That's your question?
Kind of. Also, Marge, wondering about if the seed being inherently like from
yes,
karma, and that inherent the piety of that seed leads to the expedited process more so than the sadhusanga, because if you do have the water in the seed.
Well, I'm not sure what you're asking, because the tendency is already there. Krishna, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sajja Kavanoi. Krishna Prema is already there. So just like in a seed, a tree or a plant or whatever it is that's within the seed, it's already there. It's already there. It's already there. Not matured. It's not even awakened. So sadhusanga makes a big difference. Qualitative and quantitative sadhusanga makes a big difference to awaken the seed. So you're wanting to know how much is it dependent upon his past piety and his mode of goodness, and how much of it is already inherent, and how much of it is sadhusanga.
Yeah.
That's your question. Inherence is already there, but supposing like this classic example of a spark that falls on dry grass, a spark that falls on land, and a spark that falls in water. You know that example, right? So the medium on which the spark falls is going to make a difference. When the spark falls in water, it becomes carbon, just floating around in the water. But the carbon can be reignited. If it dries and placed near fire, it can become fire again. Or falls on land. It may become eventually extinguished, but it can be revived just by fire. And then falls on dry grass, it will ignite. So the prior condition, that's on the material side, but carbon has the potential to ignite, whether it's this, that, or the other medium. So the inherence of Krishna Prema is within every living entity. Then sadhusanga makes all the difference, and our receptivity for sadhusanga makes a big difference too. Okay? Okay. Lots of hands. Lots of hands.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Maharaj, in Bhakti cultivation process, we hear the greediness, which is longing. How that is different from the utsaha, enthusiasm?
It's quite similar. It's just an intensification of utsaha. I can be enthusiastic, and I can be greedy. And greedy is like super enthusiasm. Now, greedy can also be material, but this is speaking spiritual enthusiasm and spiritual greediness. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. I have heard, Guru Maharaj, that spiritual attachment goes hand in hand with material detachment. So as the bhakti is maturing, how does it affect my material life and the responsibility?
It enriches it. It gives it meaning and purpose, and it becomes more effective. It's a good question. It's an essential question for people in the world. That's most of us, and householders in particular. A very key teaching comes in Brahma's prayers, Stane Sitakshrutikatam Tanavan Manobir. So stay in your position and engage in hearing. Shrutikatam Tanavan Manobir. So by that shruti, by that hearing, in one's in the material atmosphere, and I have a nature, I'm doing according to my nature, whatever that is, we don't have to change that, you trash it, throw it away. We are who we are, we live who we are, according to our psychophysical covering propensities, and engage in hearing. As one engages in hearing, then, you know, like this presentation that Nandi Mukhi made a little while ago, the covering starts to dissipate, and it becomes spiritualized, and what's really important becomes more clear, in part because intelligence becomes more clear, and I can become more discerning what's really important as opposed to what's not really important. And what's really important, I continue to invest and spiritualize so that I can become more effective in my dealings with the energy, the material energy, and it becomes spiritualized energy. So in that way, it becomes more effective. That way, my life in the material world becomes more effective, and things that are less important just kind of diminish and fade and fall away. In course of time, not artificially, but naturally. And then, like the maturing of a seed to a plant, and then comes the cluster of buds, and then the flowers, and then the fruit. It's just natural. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, thank you very much.
I'm going to take one or two more, and we're going to end. Nityananda Pran had his hand up, so you can give it back up there.
Guru Maharaj read two things. One is appreciation for Srila Prabhupada's writing that just occurred to me. That he defines enthusiasm as endeavor executed with intelligence.
Yes.
And here you showed a slide where he translates mati as intelligence.
Yes.
So I really appreciated that it's the intention that fuels enthusiasm.
Yes.
So for me, if ever I have to check on why am I not enthusiastic, I have to check my intention, the strength of my intention. The second is that the question is still not fully clear, so if you don't mind, do you permit I can express and I process slowly. The verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita was Guru Krishna Prasade Pai.
Yeah.
In Jiva Goswami's reference to the verse, he uses the phrase Satsangama, that's the association of devotees. The latter seems more general, the first one is very specific, it seems like. Guru Krishna Prasade Pai.
Yeah.
So is it to be understood that the word Guru is being used
in a broad sense? Yes, broad general sense. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, like, here's a nice, for example. A book distributor is performing a guru function. Because what is the guru function? You give Krishna. The guru function is empowered by Krishna to give Krishna. So the book distributor is giving Krishna. They're not necessarily thinking, I'm a guru, here I come. But that's what they're doing. It's a guru function. So in an expanded sense, it's just the giving of Krishna act. And you give Krishna through bhakti. That's a whole other, a well-developed topic in Madhurya Kandambani. I see some hands, and I'm wondering about time. There's someone way back in the corner.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much. I love the analogy of the train. Understanding where the train's going or where you're going helps to increase that motivation or that desire, that seed. Makes perfect sense. Along the same lines, understanding what percentage of the people actually get to their destination can also be motivating. So my question is...
Well, we know the percentage. It's right in Bhagavad Gita. Manushanam sahasreshu.
So
go ahead.
Just reflect on that just a little bit, not percentage-wise necessarily, but this movement of Prabhupada's is so beautiful in that process. And sometimes it's really motivating to understand the end goal and how people achieve that. I know the symptoms, I understand that what's in the scriptures, but I kind of really wanted your reflection on that.
The goal. That's what you want to hear? Well, there's the seed, and there's the intermediate, and there's the mature. The goal is the same, but there's the mature stage of the goal, and then there's the intermediate stage of the goal, and then that's like the creeper. And then, even when prema is achieved, that's the goal. It's there's nothing. There's only one thing. There's nothing else. Anya abhilash shunyam. Abhilash. There's no other abhilash. What's that abhilash? Krishna should be pleased. And then life, our life today, is an opportunity to please Krishna. And the mature stages of an intensity of absorption in, there's only one thing. My life is one thing. It's striving to please Krishna. There's the humility part that says, I'm unable, I'm incompetent, and so forth. There are too many shortcomings. And because the Madhurya Kandambani topic was written by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur out of his love for Rupa Goswami, the intensity factor of Vishwanath tells a lot about the mature stage, the goal. There's two nice stories. I'm going to answer your question with two nice stories. One nice story was Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur was very strong on the pastime of Krishna enjoying with Radha was outside of love, outside of marriage, the formalities of marriage, parakiya. And there were persons prior to his time and during his time that didn't like it. They didn't like it to the extent they had a plan. The sadhus had a plan to murder him. They knew that he had a habit of a regulation that he would go in the morning hours and pick flowers to offer to his deities. They knew where he went, so they planned to ambush him. And they saw him at a distance. But then, right before their eyes, he disappeared, and instead, there was a very beautiful girl picking flowers. So they approached the beautiful girl and said, "Who are you? Did you happen to see a sadhu here?" And she answered, "I'm a maidservant of Radharani, and I'm gathering flowers for Radharani so Radharani can offer to Krishna." And she smiled and then went back to picking flowers, and suddenly she turned and it was Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. They fell at his feet. They realized his external and his internal weren't always the same, but internally he was the same. And externally he was doing, giving to the world transcendental reality, and internally he was absorbed. And for that his life was at risk. But he was an intimate maidservant of Srimati Radharani. That's the goal. We live our life like, we're offering flowers to the deity and so forth. We do things in a regulative manner. And then internally there's this other absorption that's in the states of love of God. There's another example that's in the title of the book just went away. It'll come back. When he lived at Radhakund. When he lived in Vrindavan, much of his time was in Radhakund. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. The question is, what's the goal? What does it look like? He lived at Radhakund, and he was the next generation following Krishnadas Kaviraj. Because Krishnadas Kaviraj had heard everything from Raghunath Das Goswami. And Raghunath Das Goswami heard everything from Swarup Damodar. And Swarup Damodar knew everything about Lord Chaitanya and his inner feelings and so forth. So he heard all of that from Krishnadas. And Krishnadas Kaviraj was the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And he wrote something, Krishnadas Kaviraj, wrote something in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur couldn't understand. It was a detail. It was, the Kama Gayatri has 23.5 syllables. And he was puzzled. I never heard of such a thing. He was a Sanskrit genius. He never heard of it, half a syllable. And he pondered on it, and he prayed, and he didn't get an answer. So it's in Bhakti Ratnakar. He decided, what's the use of my life if I can't understand the teachings of Krishnadas Kaviraj? I'm just going to give up my life, fasting till death, right here by the side of Radhakund. So all night long, it's just one night, but that was his intention. And then he dozed, fell asleep. Radharani appeared in his dream and instructed him, my dear devotee. Radharani appeared, my dear devotee. Don't be grieved like this. Krishnadas Kaviraj can't make a mistake. He's a perfect being. The unanswered question to your question is there's a particular book in the library at Radhakund which says what he said. When this letter and that letter conjoined, it becomes a half a syllable. So in the morning you go to the library and you see he didn't make a mistake. It was based on that authority that he wrote. And then, this is the goal, then Radharani explained to him, I will explain to you this Kam Gayatri mantra, and I want you to write a book on what I explained to you. So she explained, and he wrote the book. Pretty exceptional. That he then understood he's been accepted by Radharani as her confidential associate. How's that for an answer to your question? And we're not there yet. It's okay. The process takes us to the goal. It takes us to where the train is going. Stay on board. And then revisit from time to time in sadhu sangha, how am I doing? And how am I applying myself to these principles of bhakti? And someone to encourage me and correct me and all of those good things. Sadhu sangha. Being in the association of sadhus. They're kind, they'll help. We want their mercy. And I think I should end, it's almost 9 o'clock. And we have another schedule to follow, so I'm going to end abruptly. Who's our MC? Who's going to wrap up and tell everybody what to do?
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. Just a quick announcement for those that are not fasting, breakfast is available downstairs in the hall. Otherwise, everyone can come back here by 10 o'clock for the resumption of the Vyasa Puja ceremonies.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.